your direct competition was good, but not nearly enough. It starts over again tonight. The Cincinnati Reds, who were the tag team partner in the most memorable night of baseball here in 20 years, are back in town. And the Pirates have to treat them the same as they did last year and as they did Milwaukee and St. Louis last week.
It's a gorgeous night on the North Shore, and Pirates fans getting to the ballpark any way they can as the Labor Day weekend begins with Game 1 of a 3-game set between the Pirates and the Cincinnati Reds. And hi again, everybody, along with Steve Blass. I'm Tim Neverett. Robbie Smikowski will join us in just a little bit. Well, the Pirates coming off 2 series victories over the Brewers and the Cardinals, and another Central Division team in here tonight in Cincinnati.
Yeah, it was real good against the Brewers and the St. Louis Cardinals. I think especially the Cardinals series because we lost the first game looking down the barrel at 2 terrific pitchers in Lance Lynn and Adam Wainwright. We beat them both. I thought that was critical. Now, if you can follow that up with some good work against the Cincinnati Reds this weekend, you can say the Pirates have really created some discomfort in the National League Central.
Different situation from the first half to the second half. 12 games remaining against Milwaukee, St. Louis, and Cincinnati out of the 29 games remaining in the regular season. Edinson Volquez, last time out against Cincinnati, didn't have a great outing, but he's been very good in his most recent outings.
Yeah, that stuff against Cincinnati is kind of ancient history. Here's the important part of what he's done, and you hope he can just continue this streak. Last 4 starts, 3-0, an ERA under 2. Done very good work here at this ballpark. He hasn't lost since sometime back in July, so he's been very, very, very consistent. This might be some of his best work. So again, tip of the cap to Volquez, tip of the cap to Neil Huntington for getting him.
Volquez, the staff leader in wins with 11. He will oppose Reds right-hander Mike Leake. Pirates bats have been hitting the long balls, and they've been powering through the Central Division over the last 6 games against the Central. 12 home runs. They'll try to get some more tonight. They've added a bat, too. A roster move we'll tell you about coming up. El Toro t-shirts. The Pedro Alvarez t-shirt being given out tonight to the first 25,000. Pedro's been battling a bit of a sprained foot and may or may not be available off the bench tonight, but the Pirates getting some insurance, making sure they have a left-handed bat available in case Travis Snyder, who also has a tweaked hamstring, can't go. Andrew Lambo called up from AAA Indianapolis, and the roster move, Garrett Cole being sent to Bristol of the Rookie League. Now their season ends tonight, Steve.
Well, you know, I thought he had a pretty good outing last time out. Now you're getting sent out, but it's a paper move.
It's a paper move. Once the minor league season ends, he can come back up, but they'll hold him out until Monday, September 1st, when he will pitch against the St. Louis Cardinals. The rosters expand September 1st, so a paper move at the end of the year. They're taking advantage of that rule, and Andrew Lambo is here. Russell Martin takes us out to home plate tonight. And we'll take a look at the Honda starting lineup for Brian Price's Cincinnati Reds. Billy Hamilton leading off. Todd Frazier playing first base. Brandon Phillips back in the lineup. Devin Mesoraco behind the plate. Jay Bruce bats fifth. 6 for 11 with a home run against Volquez. Christopher Negron will play third base. Skip Schumacher, then Zach Cozart hitting eighth, and the pitcher Mike Leake will bat ninth against Pirates right-hander Edinson Volquez.
Yep, 11-7, 3.56 ERA. His last 6 starts, as you take a look at the overall numbers, 6 starts, he's only given up 10 earned runs. He's 3-0 in those 6 starts. So this is going to be fun, Tim. I'll tell you, this takes me back to the days of Lawrence Welk, when he used to say, let's get down, let's get the funky. So we should have a lot of fun this weekend.
Oh, let's get down with the defense. Brought to you by Volvo. There are no bubbles on this graphic, Steve.
And the Lennon sisters are.
You see the outfield and you see the infield. Ike Davis at first base. Russell Martin doing the catching. And a 1 and a 2.
There we go.
Jose Tabata is in right field tonight. And Travis Snyder not quite 100% with the hamstring of the left leg. So Jose getting the start. Andrew McCutchen probably not 100%, but as baseball players will tell you, you know this well, Steve, at this point of the year, you look around the clubhouse, you say, who is 100%?
Yeah, we're heading around the far stretch, and you can see the finish line, and Andrew is going to be out there whenever he can, and whenever he can, that's a good thing for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Well, first batter of the ball game will be Billy Hamilton. He's a Rookie of the Year candidate, and a guy who can really run when he gets on base. He'll put pressure on the defense. 51 stolen bases for Hamilton. The object is to keep him off the bags. And pitch inside for ball 1, and we're underway.
Yeah, and you want to keep track of everybody in this lineup because they all like to run. Only the Dodgers have stolen more bases as a team than the Cincinnati Reds. They're the running Reds, and they want to try to protect against that speed.
The infield playing in on Hamilton. Jay Hay in on the grass at third. And Hamilton will take another strike, and it's 1-2. Carroll Automotive League leaders stats, and take a look at his rookie numbers. First full season in the big leagues. First in all those categories except for average, where he is fourth. So certainly some good numbers. There's a
how good is that?
Base, right to right. 1 out.
That's the way to handle that speed. An easy chopper about a foot away from the base.
So Hamilton 0 for 1.
So Volquez, you've heard all about him tonight as we get ready to start this series. One very, very good start back in April where he gave up just a couple runs in 7 innings, and then the Reds really knocked him around in the middle of May. So he's had 1 good, 1 bad against his former team.
Edinson getting ready to face Todd Frazier. Now the first pitch to Frazier is in there for a strike. Clint Hurdle was asked earlier today about Edinson. He said, what about the struggles he's had against the Reds? He's 1-2 with 5.86 ERA. He said, how do you get out of that? I believe Robbie asked him that question, and he said we just keep letting him pitch against the Reds until he has a good game.
That's right. It's like we always talk about the poker. The cards have no memory, so those games are gone. Tonight is brand new for Edinson.
1 ball, 1 strike pitch to Frazier. Pitch outside. 2-1.
See, that's how good he's been. He's frustrated. He missed with the slider. He's not happy about it. That's good.
Todd Frazier moving over to the other side of the diamond. This is Brian Price's way of keeping his bat going, as well as Negron, the third baseman. Negron normally a shortstop, but again trying to generate some offense.
It's nice to pitch against the Reds without Joey Votto. Simple as that. That really helps.
2-2 pitch. That's a ball. Brian Price in his first year as the skipper of the Reds. 65-69, 4 games under 500. Reds are 8.5 out in the division, 6.5 out in the wild card for that second spot in the wild card. Payoff pitch, and Frazier to left field. Marte right there, and that's out number 2. 2 gone for Cincinnati. Umpires tonight. The crew chief, Fielden Culbreth, is behind the plate. Brian Knight is at first base. Jim Reynolds at second. Manny Gonzalez, the umpire, at third. Brandon Phillips batting in the 3 spot. Back in July, injured his thumb. Same day as Yadier Molina. Molina, by the way, activated today by the Cardinals, so the Pirates will see him Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Phillips takes a pitch outside. They both had similar injuries on the same day, but Phillips just getting back on Monday. And this one up in the air to McCutchen. Can of corn for him. 1-2-3 go the Reds in the top half of the first inning. Pirates to face Mike Leake next.
Wonderful, wonderful.
To the bottom half of the first inning at PNC Park. Pirates lineup brought to you by Toyota. The first 2 in the order, then Andrew McCutchen, Neil Walker batting cleanup. Batting 5th, Russell Martin, 10 for 27 with a home run against today's starter for the Reds, Mike Leake. Ike Davis, Starling Marte bats 7th, Jordy Mercer 8th, and Volquez batting 9th. Mike Leake, a veteran of these games. This will be his 19th appearance against the Pirates in his career.
Yeah, he hasn't been around all that long either. Hot and cold. Mike Leake can be the best of pitchers on a given night, and he can go in the other direction. Last time out, he's one of the best. 2 hits against the Atlanta Braves, and a very, very good start. Very good athlete, good hitter, does a lot of things well. Hot and cold. Not much middle ground for Mike Leake.
This year, the Pirates have managed a few runs off of him in 3 starts. The Bucks have scored 11 earned runs off of him in 19 2/3 innings.
You go back just to flesh that out. the last start against the Braves, very, very good. The 2 starts previous to that, a total of 12 innings and 9 earned runs. So which Mike Leake are you going to get tonight?
No balls and 2 strikes to Josh Harrison. Harrison, a .304 hitter. He and Andrew McCutchen still in the hunt for the batting crown in the National League. And this one pulled foul again.
Don't think you can get inside on Josh Harrison, because he turns on the ball as good as anybody. His quick hands, keeps the bat reeled in tight. He's quick wrists, and he'll hurt you down the left field line.
1-2. For Josh, it's kind of worn off a little bit on him, but the Reds are the team that he watched while growing up in Cincinnati. Jay 4th on the list in batting average in the National League. Justin Morneau leading the way at .314. Ben Revere of the Phillies at .310. It is still within reach for both McCutchen and Jay Hay, if he's not too busy running for president. To the right side and a base hit.
But, you know, these aren't headlines anymore. This is what Josh Harrison does.
What a story he has been this year.
Pitch out of the way, hard pitch to take because it's breaking out that way. Would have been called a ball certainly, but why take the chance when you're this hot?
Harrison aboard, nobody out. Jose Talbot, the batter. Jose was brought back to the big leagues Monday. Gregory Polanco was sent down. Expect Polanco back either Monday or Tuesday. Probably Tuesday in St. Louis. The rosters expand on Monday, and
crowded airplanes for the rest of the place.
Crowded airplanes, crowded clubhouses. And that's the way it goes. Andrew Lambeau is here for the first time this year after a disappointing spring training. Nobody more disappointed than Andrew Lambeau. And he did not make the club. He had a chance as the team's first baseman. Didn't hit very well in spring training. The team went another direction, and Andrew had to work it out in AAA this year and had some good numbers, good power numbers. So we would expect to see him off the bench tonight as a left-handed bat if the game requires a pinch hitter, which they often do.
Leake will have to keep track of Josh Harrison. 17 steals.
Jose Talbot getting ahead of Leake, 3-0.
And Leake usually with good control numbers. In fact, this start number 28, 27 starts, he's only walked 42. So his control has been good. This guy came to the big leagues the year he signed. One of the very few.
Went straight to the major leagues out of Arizona State.
He's 5'10", 190 pounds, out of San Diego, 26 years old.
Mike Leake and Tim Lincecum, the only active pitchers to make at least 100 starts within 5 seasons of being drafted.
Good pitching, good scouting.
3-1 to Talbot.
They want it inside.
There goes Jay Hay, and Talbot smacks it foul. Neil Walker getting ready to come up into the on-deck circle. McCutchen there now. Three and 2 to Talbot. This early, do you start him here 3-2 with nobody out and risk a double play, or you keep him where he is?
I'll let you know.
Well, they're going to send him. And ground ball to the middle. Out at second, out at first. Very close at second base. But there is the double play, even though the runner was started.
There's the action at second base. Very close.
Phillips.
Always animated.
Pumping the fist.
Always animated Brandon Phillips.
So a 2-man out, base is empty. And McCutcheon fouls this one off. Well, they love him in Cincinnati.
Good. Good. But
very close plays. Jay probably thought he was safe. Runner usually will on a play like that. One ball, one strike to Kutch. 307, 20 home runs, 71 knocked in. And the count is 2-1 to Andrew. Two 2-1 pitch. And the ground ball to short. McGraw is there. I beg your pardon, that's Zach Cozart. Cozart throws on to first base to get him. The run's a hit. That's it. We go to the second.
And the 2014 season that he put together. And today, Josh Harrison was awarded for being named the Pirates' preliminary winner for the 2014 Heart and Hustle Award. The award honors active players who demonstrate a passion for the game and best embody the values, spirit, and tradition of baseball. Now, Josh told me he's honored to be a guy recognized as a guy that goes out there and has fun and plays with passion. He said his words can't really describe his season. There are certain things he's blessed to receive, but with the opportunity to play, things are within reach for him. Clint Hurdle said when you talk about heart and talk about hustle, Josh embodies both. He said when you bring a Little League team to a ballpark and you want to watch a player and say, this is how you play the game, Greg and Steve, you watch Josh Harrison. Now the final winner announced November 18th in New York City. Last year's MLB winner was Dustin Pedroia of the Boston Red Sox. Clint Hurdle going to be honored that night as well. So another notch in the belt in the 2014 season of Josh Harrison, guys.
Yep, given by Major League alumni. The alumni recognizing the various heart and hustle winners for each team.
0-2 inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the batter, Devin Mesoraco. Mesoraco, Bruce, and Negron in this inning. Facing Volquez.
Punxsutawney Phil. Devin from Punxsutawney. Punxsutawney Devin.
Here's the 1-2. He is plunked. So the Reds were their first base runner of the game on a hit batsman. Got him on the chest.
Yeah, yep. A glancing ball. Like any damage done. I think the bat took more of a beating heading toward the dugout than he did.
Jay Bruce, the batter. Left-handed slugger, the right fielder. And he hits this one well to left field, but right there is Marte. Rocco bluffing as though he's going to go on a tag up on the deep fly ball, but there's one out. Bruce 0 for 1. Reds had tried Bruce at first base. We've been splitting time for a little while with Brian Pena, but Pena's been playing a lot of it. Bruce had some challenges defensively, so he's back out in right field.
And, Jay not having the home run year that you're used to seeing from him. Got 14 on the year. That's not up to his standards for sure.
Third baseman Christopher Negron. Strike one to Negron. Shortstop by trade, but doing whatever he's asked to do, and that is play third base for the Phillies. Was promoted from AAA on the 10th of July when Brandon Phillips was injured. There's a ground ball to short. Mercer to Walker. Too late. The drop cost him a double play.
Taylor made no error charged, but that should have been a double play. Got off the heel of the glove. That cost him the second out.
Well, 2 men out, and Negron on the fielder's choice. The batter is Skip Schumacher. He takes a strike. I mentioned this the other day when the Cardinals were in. You watch the Cardinals and what John Jay does. Well, Skip Schumacher used to do the same thing with the Pirates. He was a pest when he was with St. Louis.
Seems like every hitter has one team that they pick on.
Oh, one pitch will wait to throw to first, and Negron gets back. No balls and a strike. Negron off of first base, and Schumacher ready at the plate. To left field, and back goes Marte, but he has got a handle on it. Marte with 3 putouts through 2 innings. Inning and a half gone by, no score. Inning number 2 at PNC Park. Expecting a capacity crowd tonight. Big crowds this weekend. And tomorrow, very busy day on the North Shore. Talk about that coming up in a bit. Try to help you out if you're coming down.
Big crowds all season, all summer.
Yep.
It's been good.
Pirates will hit the 2 million mark tonight in attendance. Neil Walker will start things off. 277 hitter. 17 home runs and 56 runs batted in. And a strike from Mike Leake. 1 ball and 1 strike to Neal. Pirates coming off an off day yesterday. 3 here against Cincinnati. Then it's on to St. Louis for the Labor Day game Monday afternoon.
Long trip coming up.
Long road trip on the way. It's the last real long one.
Yeah, you'll know more about this division race, wild card race, when you get back, and then as things go on from there, you learn even more as it continues to go on. This could really get interesting right down to the last maybe 10 days, a week of September. I can see this thing just really getting tight and tense and dramatic and wonderful. Mr. Cueto, we'll see him Sunday.
Yep, he'll have a hand in it.
Leake did not get a call there.
Cueto will pitch.
Pirates did
on Sunday. He will go opposite
Point Park University strike zone. Well, he could have got a call. Didn't get a call. Pirates get a call. Good. Told you he's a good athlete.
1 out. Pirates host the Reds tomorrow at 4:05 and stay after the game for Fan Jam featuring Gavin DeGraw live in concert, presented by Highmark. See him perform all of his hits like I Don't Want to Be, Not Over You, and more. To learn how you can watch the concert from the field, go to pirates.com/concerts. Starting with the cotton candy early. Enjoying, if not his first, one of his first Pirate games. Russell Martin takes inside, spins out of the way. Liriano pitching Sunday opposite Johnny Cueto. That'll be the matchup in the finale Sunday afternoon. Right before the Pirates head out on the road. Tomorrow, Vance Worley, Alfredo Simon. It's a 4:05 start tomorrow. 2 ball, no strike pitch. That's in for a strike, 2-1.
Yeah, root for the Bucks.
One thing Russ has been doing, getting on base. Leads all major league catchers in on base percentage, 421. Batting average at 295. And a good average for Martin this year. 7 homers, 51 runs batted in. And Martin toward the gap on the run. Hamilton, he dives and makes a great catch. Billy Hamilton robs Russell Martin.
Got a great jump on it. Closing speed as you would expect. Gave the body up. Catches the baseball.
This is what Hamilton does. He has been playing at a very high level defensively for the Reds. The word on Hamilton is that this year obviously has been a good year for him, but he seems to be getting better and better. Look at that, just 1 error this year. It's Gold Glove kind of stuff.
These guys are getting after it.
Davis grounds out to Phillips. And the Pirates gone in order. Heading to the 3rd inning, scoreless.
brought to you by Toyota. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. And by PNC Bank for the achiever in you. Let's go Bucks!
No score, top of the third inning here in Pittsburgh with Steve Blass and R.B. Smikowski. I'm Tim Everett. Glad you're along for the ride with us tonight. Edinson Volquez pitching to the number 8 hitter for Cincinnati, the shortstop Zach Cozart. 1-0 pitch and a bouncer to Jordy Mercer. 1 out. It's time to show us how you root for the Bucks and be our AT&T fan photo of the game. Show us the most unique ways you raise the Jolly Roger, the fun places you watch the games on Root Sports, or how you display your pirate pride. Simply submit a picture via Twitter using the hashtag BucksFanPhoto. Kind of like that right there. And have an opportunity to have it shown tonight during our telecast. Mike Leake takes a strike. Happy young man.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like he's well hydrated. 0-1 pitch. What? Says first base umpire Brian Knight, and it's 0-2. Leake rung up on appeal. 10 hits and 57 at bats. Volquez ready to deliver the 0-2.
This young man has really proven that he can do a lot of different things. He was drafted in 2009, number 8 man taken, eighth player taken. Did not throw a pitch in the minor leagues that year, and the next year, 2010, stepped right in, 22 starts, 8-4. That's pretty impressive.
Also with the bat, he has 67 hits since his debut in 2010. It's the most by any major league pitcher since he debuted. He can swing it. And he takes it that time. He is out. 2 men gone. First strikeout for Edinson Volquez. Back to the top of the order for Cincinnati. Labor Day sale. Save 50% and get MLB.com at-bat premium for $4.99. Follow every Pirates game with live look-ins, replay reviews, live radio broadcast, the MLB.TV game of the day, and more. Download in the App Store. Sale ends soon. Visit pirates.com/mobile.
Both these pitchers moving it right along here early on. Volquez won last time out against the Brewers. Gave up 11 hits, but was able to work around it and pick up the W. His 11th. 11 hits in basically 6 innings and just giving up 2 runs. That's doing some good pitching.
1-0 pitch. Hamilton bunts it foul up the first base side.
Well, we got a chance, Tim, while we have a moment, just want to wish a very special happy birthday to Michelle Repepi. Michelle, hope you're having a great day. On the disabled list for a little while, but back in the starting lineup. That's good to hear. And by the way, Michelle has a relative that happens to be a hero of mine. So, Phil, hope you're doing okay. So, Michelle Repepi, all the best to you.
Ball and a strike to Billy Hamilton. 1-2. Hamilton behind in the count. Grounded out to Ike Davis in the first inning. Volquez 1-2. Struck him out.
All right.
Woo. 2 punch outs for Edinson Volquez, and the Reds gone in order again. The third, and those roadways will be a little busy tomorrow. We'll talk about that here in just a second. Pirates president Frank Coonelly joining us as Starling Marte leads off, bunts up the first base side. Frazier gloves it, slides, and beats Marte to the bag. One pitch and one out. And Frank, we are expecting a very busy day here on the North Shore tomorrow.
It's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow on the North Shore. Busy indeed. And really the purpose of me being up here is to, again, advise our fans to come early tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a great day. It's supposed to be a great day here in the North Shore. To come early, enjoy the activities that we have for them down here on Federal Street, and also to let them know that we're opening the ballpark early as well. Because the one thing we don't want our fans to do is to get aggravated if they come at the normal time. That if you normally come a half hour or 15 minutes before game time, please make tomorrow the one day of the season that you don't do that, because that will be right at the time when the Pitt game is ending and the traffic is breaking from the Pitt football game, and that would cause a lot of aggravation.
So they can come in and watch a little more batting practice than they normally would be allowed to.
Absolutely. We're opening up a half hour early and opening up several of our venues. There you go.
Jordy Mercer safe.
Opening up several of the venues early, and we're going to also be having some food and beverage specials as well to encourage fans to come on in and get to the ballpark early. So the Hall of Fame Club will be open at 2 o'clock, 2 hours before the first pitch, and we'll have the same type of what we have normally for post-game specials, and beer and wine and some appetizers will be pre-game until 3:30, and then also for the club level, suite level, and Lexus Club, we're going to open at 2 o'clock as well. And club level, suite level patrons can come into the entrances at the club and suite level, and we'll have specials on the entire club level, and the Lexus Club will also have some specials as well.
So busy.
Busy. A lot going on. And, of course, as we're doing on the weekends, Federal Street will be active. And the festivities on Federal Street will include food and beverage, bars set up, cornhole competition out there. And that will start at 1 o'clock. So there'll be a lot to do. And you come early, avoid the frustration of the traffic as the Pitt football game is emptying out. It's going to be nice and quiet here between about 12 o'clock noon and about 2:30, 3 o'clock. That would be the perfect time to show up.
And there's going to be a lot of people showing up at this ballpark tomorrow.
Yes, there will. We will be sold out again. So there will be, between the Pitt football game and here, there'll be about 70,000 people here tomorrow.
So come early, stick around.
And come in shifts.
Yeah. It's going to be a great day. That's a great sports day for our city and on the North Shore.
It really will be, and this is what the North Shore was intended to be when these two beautiful ballparks were built. And we'll just stack them a little bit closer than we like normally tomorrow. With our 4:05 start, of course, was dictated by national TV, and the more that national TV will grab the Pirates for their telecast, the more we'll have some of these challenges.
Well, Frank, speaking of a lot of people being here tomorrow, I would think you're delighted with what's been happening this summer, especially the later home stands when this place has just been jammed.
Well, Steve, I'll go beyond delighted, just absolutely humbled by the crowds that we're getting. The fans have been so receptive this year, and it's made a difference. Our players play better in front of their fans. You can see it all year long. We've had either the best record in the National League at home or one of the best records in the National League. And it's all because of what our fans do for these guys. Not only are they here in record numbers, but they're loud, they're proud, and they certainly help us. So we couldn't be more appreciative of what the fans have done for us this year, and it's making a difference.
Yeah, and I would think you'd be expecting this to run the table for as long as we play here this fall.
Well, we've always said that if we gave the fans a team that was in a pennant race and that they could be proud of, they would show up in record numbers, and they certainly have done that. And it's going to be a really exciting last month of the season. And, of course, we're looking forward to giving our fans playoff baseball through the month of October.
42-27, by the way, the home record.
That's pretty good. We need to bring more of our fans on the road with us, I think.
That would help. Although, over the last 2 years, and this year too, on the road, there are lots of Pirates fans. And it doesn't matter what city we're in. We see more and more and more. It's starting to look like how a top-level college football team travels in respect to that. Josh Harrison deep to right center field. Hamilton going back. And on the warning track, Billy Hamilton makes the catch. Well, Frank, think early tomorrow. Come out early.
Come out early and enjoy the day. It's going to be a beautiful day here on the North Shore.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you.
Pirates President Frank Coonley joining us.
Root Sports is brought to you by the Chevy Impala and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go Bucks.
Top of the fourth inning. On the north shore of the Allegheny River. 2 hits for the Pirates so far. And the Reds have had a base runner based on a hit batsman. Number 2 hitter in the order, Todd Frazier, leads things off. And Frazier takes a strike.
Well, we thought we saw a lot of pitching, and we did in the St. Louis Cardinal series when they were in town against the Bucks. The Pirates taking 2 out of 3. We're seeing a whole bunch of pitching here early. Look at these guys, not only good but brisk.
Volquez, 2 strikeouts so far, both coming looking last inning. He got Hamilton to end the inning and Leake right before him.
Love keeping Hamilton off the base pass, and I love Joey Votto not being here, and not being in the lineup. It's certainly out of respect.
Yeah, not too long ago, recently, Joey Votto apparently had to answer questions about his injury. People actually questioning him. And that is a great stop by J-Hay. Oh, what a play all day.
Well, we saw him go to the foul line the other way last game, make a brilliant play. This time he goes to his left. That was to his right 2 days ago. This time to his left, down on the ground, comes up. Strong throw. Top-notch play. And does his pitcher love that kind of effort?
Allegheny Health Network Supermo giving us a great look at the play.
You know, when the ball's hit that hard and you get the glove around it in sensational fashion as he did, then you really don't have to hurry it as much as you might think. There's certainly a degree of urgency, but it's not a panic kind of hurry. And I think Josh recognized that, took his time, made a good strong throw, beat him by a couple steps.
1-0 pitch to Phillips. 1-1. Hurdle was talking about J-Hay a lot today in the pregame. He said, we're happy to watch this story unfold. They've been watching it unfold all season long, and he said everybody loves a good story. And J-Hay has been a great story this year for the Pittsburgh Pirates. To center field, right at McCutchen. Here's our day automotive this day in Pirates history. This day, 1995, Paul Wagner came within 1 out of pitching a no-hitter against the Colorado Rockies. With 2 outs in the ninth, Andres Galarraga hit a weak ground ball past the mound and beat Nelson Liriano's throw to first for an infield hit. Wagner had to settle for a complete game. 1 hitter.
Against the Rockies. You know, that was back in that was the Blake Street Bullies, wasn't it?
Bombers, yeah. Blake Street Bombers. And they were bullies, yeah.
And the Big Cat got him. Beat out an infield hit. The Big Cat didn't have too many infield hits. How about this?
Nice hop for Harrison. And Mesoraco is out. And for the 3rd time in 4 innings, the Reds are retired 1-2-3. Back to 1960 for the Pirates Game 7 World Series win over the Yankees on the next Root Sports Classics. See this game like never before with personal stories from Vern Law, Bill Verdon, Dick Groat, and the man that hit the game-winning home run, Bill Mazeroski. 1960 World Series Game 7. Maz makes history Wednesday at 7 on Root Sports Classics. Jose Tabata takes a strike from Mike Leake as we start the Pirates half of the 4th inning.
Never gets old seeing Yogi Berra going back on a ball. This catcher going back on a ball that was out of here.
Brandon Phillips throws out Tabata. Tabata's 0 for 2. 1 out.
We may get this one in before it gets dark.
Should have waited. Should have waited a couple more innings for that one.
That's usually the kiss of death.
Yes. There's McCutchen. McCutchen grounded out to short. His first time up, and he takes a strike here.
With these kind of games, if you wait around in the batter's box, you know, more than 1 or 2 pitches, you're going to be behind in the count. This guy's been pouring in a lot of strikes.
1 ball, 1 strike to Kutch. Edinson Volquez certainly been throwing his share of strikes. And fouls it off down the right field side and out of play. Nice catch.
Yep. Had to fight for it too. Yep. Got it.
What a throw.
That never gets old either.
No. Into center field, and on the run is Hamilton. He won't get to it. A base hit from McCutchen. Kutch is 1 for 2. He's now hit in 13 of his last 14 games against Cincinnati.
know, this type of game, you might think, well, somebody's going to take an opportunity, going to try to steal a base. I don't know how much running we're going to see from Andrew McCutchen for a while. You know, in terms of his physical condition, you don't want him bouncing around too much. I'm not saying he won't go, but I think it'd be a little bit of a surprise.
Walker takes a strike. Neal, 17 home runs, third most by a second baseman in a single season. George Grantham in 1930 had 18. Of course, Maz had 19 in 1958. And the 0-1 now to Neil Walker from Mike Leake. Will wait. Time is called. Looked like Mesoraco wanted a timeout.
Leake has given up 17 home runs in his first 27 starts. 27 starts. Or 28. 8-10 lifetime against the Bucks.
Neal is 11 for 36 against Leake, a .306 average. So he's hitting fairly well. Frank Cooley was in visiting with us, talked about the home record for the Pirates, 42-27. Also the home batting average, much better than the road batting average this year. The Pirates 273 at home and 240 on the road. Two and one now to Neal. One strike count on Walker. McCutchen aboard with a 1-out single. Scoreless in the bottom of the fourth inning. And a ground ball to short. Cozart flips to Phillips to first base, and Walker is out. The Reds have pulled off their second double play of the ball game so far. Last night, he was not. It's the subject of tonight's Allegheny Health Network injury update. Began a rehab assignment with AA Altoona. Went 4 innings, struck out 6, allowed 2 runs on 4 hits and a walk. 73 pitches last night for Charlie Morton, pitching in AA in a rehab stint. Charlie making his way back. What was told to be a sports hernia.
He's had his share of physical challenges over his career, and then some.
Volquez will face Jay Bruce. Bruce flied out to left field in the second inning. 0 for 1 for the Reds right fielder. 217 the batting average for Bruce this year. Ball 1.
Well, you wonder about home runs in this kind of a game. We told you that Leake has given up 17. Edinson has given up 16 in his 25 previous starts. But he's showing a lot of confidence now. You can see the way he's moving around the mound. Just kind of playing off that nice string of starts that he has had. So keeps it rolling here.
Bruce fouls this one off. Strike 2 to Bruce. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Sometimes you see batters that will get caught up in the pace of a pitcher, and that's why probably with this pace right now you'll see some guys, if they're smart, stepping out trying to disrupt that pattern, that flow. What we had to try to do against Bob Gibson. Bob Gibson was winding up as he was catching the ball back from Tim McCarver. And McCarver would throw the ball.
You better be ready.
Gibson would almost already be in his windup. It didn't seem to bother him too much when you stepped out. When you stepped back in, he was still good.
Still 1-2. Edinson Volquez making his 6th career start against his former team. 1-2 in his previous 5 starts against Cincinnati. 1-2 to Jay Bruce coming. And a ground ball to the left side. There's Jay Hay in the shift. He throws him out. Talked about Charlie Morton rehabbing in Altoona. Another member of the Pirates team was rehabbing there. Robbie's got more.
Tim, it was Chester, and he rehabbed with bagels in Altoona. You see, Chester was on an MLB mascot rehab assignment, and he ran in the Great American Bagel Race. He got Charlie Morton pumped up before his rehab start as well. He got checked out by the doc. All was good. Recovering from the broken foot suffered at the pierogi race here at PNC Park. Now, he started slow, but he finished strong. Winning the race right there was Blueberry Bob. Cheese Chester finished in 2nd. Now, Altoona took out Asiago Alley and Cinnamon Crunch Cindy along the way. So it was an interesting finish, interesting race. So there's no word if Chester will return before season's end. We're hearing a few things that he might. Potato Pete has been on a run for the ages since replacing Chester, but we'll certainly keep you up to date.
14
right
straight
here at PNC Park.
14 straight for Potato Pete.
I'll tell you one thing. All sports teams are very tight-lipped about injuries, points of return, how much time they're going to miss, what it's going to take. You ask them, and they're very vague about it. And it seems like that's following right in the footsteps.
You know, in your expert opinion, Steve, judging from the video, did it look like Cheese Chester was just working on a few things? Otherwise, I'd have figured he'd have won that race easily.
I think he was full out. In fact, I think he's all right, and I don't think he liked the action. I didn't think he felt good about his chances here.
I thought he was just working on a few things. Didn't maybe throw all of his
maybe
pitches.
a gear down appearance.
Maybe. Ball and 2 strikes. Negron. Did he check it? No, he did it. He's rung up on strikes, says Brian Knight. And that is strikeout number 3 for Edinson Volquez. 2 men out for Cincinnati. One around.
Yep. Edinson just keeps on trucking. I tell you, he can't wait to get the baseball right now. He's in that groove. And when you're in that groove, there's nothing happening in the world except you and your catcher, Russell Martin, right now. Pretty much doing what he wants to do. It's a good place to be.
And throwing his shirt tails right out of his pants. 1-1 to Schumacher.
And the thing is, you never know how long that real groove is going to last. I mean, it can last 2 more pitches. It can last 2 more starts. So it's like Josh Harrison. Just run with it. Just keep it going as long as you can.
Lance Worley will go tomorrow to oppose Alfredo Simon in game 2 of the series. Pitching coach Ray Searage has to like what he sees so far. 3-1. And a walk. 2-out walk is issued to Schumacher.
Body language could change a little bit. All of a sudden, not doing what he wanted to do during that at bat. Other than that, it's been pretty darn good.
Schumacher at first, and the batter will be Zach Cozart, number 8 hitter and shortstop. Bounced out to Jordy Mercer in the third. Strike call.
You get some of those you don't get.
I guess when you're having a good night, you get those once in a while.
Yeah. The tendency is to have that happen when you're throwing good. Darn right.
A little number back to Volquez. Nice and easy to first. And the Reds are retired in the 5th. Heading to the bottom of the 5th. Still no score.
Fall on Root Sports is brought to you by Barrel Automotive. We're driven to be better. And by Levin Mattress, located in all Levin furniture showrooms and freestanding stores. Let's go Bucks!
How about that shot, Steve?
Yep.
Beautiful.
Beautiful night. I mean, just absolutely perfect. We have had such great weather so many times during these homestands. It's a beautiful place.
Curveball just catching the inside corner.
Somebody's going to blink in this game. So far, it hasn't been Volquez. Now we'll see about Mike Leake in the bottom of the 5th.
Down to third base. Negron backhanding. Throw a little bit high. Frazier got his foot down. And there is one out. Let's go back downstairs and check in with Robbie.
Well, Ike Davis about to face his college teammate, Mike Leake. Played together at Arizona State for 2 seasons. Ike a year older, and he told me he remembers Leake coming in his freshman year and being the best pitcher they had on the team from the day Leake got there, even as a freshman. He said he knew he'd be a star from day one, and they had a lot of great times together. Now, I asked Ike, what would it mean to have some success against his good friend? Ike laughed at me and said, not much, really. I already hit a grand slam against him. Remember, Ike's first homer here at the ballpark was against his college buddy.
Now he wouldn't mind getting another one with nobody on right here. And he takes a strike. So Ike Davis against Mike Leake. 1 out, Pirates half of the 5th inning.
Well, he didn't waste any time at Arizona State. He didn't waste any time getting to the big leagues when they signed him.
Ground ball right side. Backing up is Frazier. Leake covering the bag. Beats Davis to it. And there are 2 men out. So safe to say here in the 5th inning we've got a pitcher's duel.
Yeah.
Starling Marte tried to bunt his way on in the 3rd inning and was unsuccessful. Just a reminder, tomorrow gates will open here at PNC Park earlier than normal due to the fact that Pitt is playing Delaware at noon. The Pirates play at 4. So the Hall of Fame Club will be open at 2 hours before the first pitch. There'll be all kinds of food specials available. You can come in and watch batting practice earlier than you normally would, and it's just to help get you here in time and alleviate some of the traffic issues.
Yeah, get in here, settle in. Give yourself some fun instead of grief in the car. Get down here.
There's a strike. Ball and 2 strikes.
Who knows? You might still be playing the way these guys are pitching. Around 1 o'clock
Right.
tomorrow afternoon. So it might be zip zip.
You gotta be careful what you ask for, Steve. Just might get it. So they're reaching for it. They want an appeal. This time Brian Knight says he didn't swing. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Marte. 2 men out, base is empty in the 5th.
8th player taken in 2009.
Marte to center field. Hamilton drifting back with room, makes the catch. Pirates gone 1, 2, 3 in the 5th. We'll head to inning number 6 at PNC Park. All zeros on the board. Great pierogi race, and there is Potato Pete getting out to a several length lead. He has won an unprecedented pierogi race record 14 in a row, while Cheese Chester has been on the disabled. Wait, there's Cheese with a crutch, and that's just dirty pool. And that is just 15 straight for Pete. Maybe his run is sputtering out. Wow. Cheese Chester ran a rehab stint last night in Altoona, and now
that's pretty impressive.
He might need to go back out on rehab.
He had a 20-length lead and then walked across. Well,
I guess he's the Usain Bolt of the pierogi world right now. 15 straight wins. Pitch is over the head of Mike Leake. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Top of the 6th. Wilson Volquez struck out Leake looking in the 3rd inning. Whoops.
Well, I can tell you one thing. Very seldom do you want to hit your opposing pitcher, and very seldom, especially in a 0-0 ball game. So I don't think there's any real concern there.
Pitch in the dirt as Leake strikes out. Martin throws down to first to complete it. One gone for the Reds in the top half of the 6th inning. Back to the top of the order, and Billy Hamilton. I think in this situation, you really have to look even harder, perhaps, for Billy Hamilton to try to lay one down. Reds trying to get a base runner.
One thing you can guarantee yourself with, if he gets on, he's going.
Look to butt. That one is taken for a ball, 1-0.
I don't know how this is going to play out, but I don't know if I've ever seen Volquez this sharp. Even those early years when he put up some good numbers for the Reds.
1 ball, 1 strike. And this is how good he has been over the last year. His ERA drop. How about that? He's dropped 2.15 runs, and it's one of the largest drops in the last 25 years. Strike 2 to Hamilton.
I think he's faced a couple over the minimum. Mike Leake has faced 1 over the minimum, although he's given up 3 hits now.
He's been helped out by 2 double plays. Now still 1-2 on Hamilton. .266 the average for Hamilton. He's the 9th player in Reds history to record at least 50 stolen bases in a season. Slaps this one foul out of play. And you think about what he's been able to do with it. He's got 51 steals right now. Think about when Ricky Henderson and Tim Raines and Lou Brock and guys like, I mean, they're stealing 100 in a season. Twice as many as what Hamilton's been doing.
Is anybody close to him in the rookie candidates? I don't think.
1-2 pitch. That's a little bit up. 2-2.
The only thing he has not been able to do this year is steal first base.
He is up there in a lot of categories among the rookies. Stolen bases, the next closest by a rookie is Colton Wong of the Cardinals with 18. Fouls another one off.
And this part of the game too for him, that short quick swing to just foul off and waste good pitches, extended bats.
Searage mentioned to me the other day he wished he had Edinson 3 years ago. I'd love to have had him and worked with him. Pretty close pitch there. That fills up the count at 3-2. Payoff pitch to Hamilton. Walked it. Not the guy you want to walk. 1 out and 1 on after an extended at bat. Edinson not very happy with it.
Well, we're in the 6th inning. What's the pitch total now? What, 22? No, it's actually 71. 71. So let the games begin between Mr. Volquez and Mr. Hamilton.
Hamilton's been caught 19 times. Pretty good looking pitch right there, recognized by Russell Martin as he pointed his glove hand out to Volquez. Called the ball 1-0.
PMC Sports Medicine Strike Zone. So we got a strike there.
1-0 to Frazier. Frazier's 0 for 2. Throw to first base. Hamilton back. Frazier at 279. Toms River, New Jersey.
Creeping.
Foul off. 1-1. We just saw Little League World Series Anton Frazier, part of that World Series champion Toms River, New Jersey team several years ago. And Lance Lynn, who just pitched here with the Cardinals, also was in the Little League World Series. I think is over now. Finished last week. Hamilton off of first. And Frazier. It's another foul ball down the third base side.
Hey, happy birthday. Happy 65th birthday to Tom Scovira. That's his son Zach that runs the show up here, our stage manager, stage director, really total boss. And Tom, if you're watching, you should be very proud of Zach. He does a good job. We give him a lot of grief. He gives it back to us, but that's what we do with friends. Zach, nice job.
Throw to first base. Hamilton back. Oh, you're talking about that, Zach?
Yeah, Zach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right next door.
Just want to be sure.
Yeah. Zach's dad, Tom, number 65. Just a pup.
1-2 to Frazier. Hamilton getting his lead, held on by Davis. There goes Hamilton. Russ's throw into center field, and Hamilton will head to third.
That's what he does.
Stolen base number 52. That'll be an error, allowing Hamilton to get the extra 90 feet.
Off to the races. The throw a little bit on the first base side, so that creates a problem reaching across the runner coming in, and that's what you're going to wind up with. Is Hamilton's right into the body of Neil Walker, and the ball's in center field. So it's not just the stolen bases at times, it's that.
Now this makes a strikeout really, really important. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Frazier's a tough out.
And he did strike him out. First base open. He's got to throw down. And they're now 2 down. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Volquez.
Wow. What a pitch to chase. And he chased it. Good work by Russell Martin to keep it together. This ball, I mean, that ball is like a 55-footer and maybe 4 feet wide. That's what you call making a commitment. You're going to swing it whatever. When you start it that early, and once you start it like that, there's no stopping.
Martin did a good job checking Hamilton to make sure he wasn't on the way.
Now, you've got to be careful with Volquez. He is tied for the lead with 15 wild pitches with Lincecum. Russell will be on high alert.
Right at J-Hay. Oh, what a play as he picked it out of the air. Phillips can't believe it. Hamilton can't believe it.
We believe it.
Josh Harrison snaring the line drive. Still scoreless.
Good reaction. Hot corner. Hot potato out. Keeps the Reds off the board, among other things.
Jordy Mercer leads off against Mike Leake. Myers with 3 hits off of Leake. Haven't had anybody pass first base tonight. Jay Hay will hit third this inning. 1 ball and 1 strike to Jordy. Well, we should probably call somebody, tell them to tune in. This is quite a ball game we've got going here tonight. Big out for Volquez was Frazier with 1 out. Down to chase a pitch that was so far down and outside with Hamilton at third base. That really was a key out at that point in the time of the inning.
I was thinking it was going to require a great save by Russell Martin. I wasn't even thinking about him swinging at it, but he did. Hamilton was left on the doorstep.
2-2 to Jordy. To the gap. Hamilton over. There's 1 out. Not a lot of room out there in the outfield with him running around. Get the latest on your favorite football teams during press conference Tuesday on Root Sports. Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin takes the podium first, live at noon, followed by Pitt's Paul Christ at 1 and WVU head coach Dana Holgerson at 1:30. It's press conference Tuesday every Tuesday starting at noon on Root Sports. Edinson takes a strike. Just 1 hit on the year for Volquez. He's 1 for 40.
Well, have yourself a real good night. Hit it over the fence, Edinson.
That would help. And a chopper over the mound. Ozark picks it up, tosses to first for out number 2. Jay Hay will now face Mike Leake.
They're playing like they're trying to get it in before the rain comes.
What rain?
I don't think we're going to have any rain.
Good place to take in the action.
Yeah, that's a pretty good Friday night right there.
How about the crow's nest? Full of Parrott with a Jolly Roger. Well, last time up for Harrison, thought he might have had enough to right center field. He went very deep out there. Hamilton caught it deep on the warning track. Got a base hit to lead off the Pirates first. He's 1 for 2, and this one down the left field line. That's going to be for extra bases. Harrison around first. He is into second for the ground rule double. Threw up the Z with a little flash.
See how quick he is inside. Those hands in tight, quick. A lot of these kind of contact guys don't do that. They don't turn on the ball like that. He does.
Since the All-Star break, Harrison leads Major League Baseball with 24 extra base hits. Jose Tabata a chance to get him in. Jose's 0 for 2. Double number 30 for Jay Hay.
Pick it up. Pick him up, Jose. It might be all you need. Might be all the offense you need tonight.
Ball, 1 strike. .39 games in Indianapolis in AAA. Jose hit .281 with 12 runs batted in. Did not have a home run in AAA. He has not had a home run at the major league level this year either. Now Devin Mesoraco will head out to the mound to talk to Mike Leake. Another figure out what to do with Jose Talbot. A packed house tonight. Atlanta and Miami, that game has an impact on the wild card stand. These Cardinals up over the Cubs 2-0 in the first.
Wow. It's going to be like this tomorrow afternoon, too. So we're scheduled to be here. Get here early. Take in the sights and sounds.
Gates will open earlier than normal tomorrow. There's a ground ball to the left side. Cozart behind it, throws to first. Safe at first is Talbot. A hustle single for Jose. Brian Price, the manager of the Reds, is going to come out and have a conversation with Brian Knight, the first base umpire, and he may challenge.
Looked like Cozart kind of circled that ball. Maybe just a little bit of a hesitation with the exchange into the throwing hand.
Allegheny Health Network Supermo. Looks like he got there.
Yep.
Right out of the box, flying down to first.
He smells that base hit.
Well, Price will not challenge. And the Pirates now with runners at first and third for the MVP, Andrew McCutchen. Is 1 for 2.
We're seeing one fine baseball game tonight. Really.
Popped it up. Touch first ball swinging, hits it in the air foul. Negron puts it away, and the Pirate threat is averted. Still scoreless as we go to the 7th. Her arm out in baseball. Starling Marte breaks out of the plate at just the right time, and there's much more to see. It's an all-new Inside Pirates Baseball presented by Allegheny Health Network. Debuts tonight after postgame on Root Sports. Lucan won 5 Olympic medals in Beijing.
We got another guy on the mound that's trying to win a medal. He's got something very special going on. A lot of things in baseball you talk about, there are some things that you don't. Right up next to one you don't. So keep on trucking, Mr. Volquez. We've got a special night working.
Phone a friend, tell him tune in. I want to see this.
This looking breaking ball right there.
1-1 to Mesoraco. Breaking ball. hung just a little. Got away with it. 2 balls and 1 strike. He was hit by a pitch earlier. And grounded out to J-Hay at third in the 4th inning. And he went. And that is strike 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
A couple of free passes, 5 strikeouts to this point. He's had 2 defensive plays turned by his third baseman.
Two to Mesoraco. And that is the first hit of the ball game. There goes the no-hitter. 6 full innings of no-hit baseball by Edinson Volquez.
And the fans know it. You're going to get 30-some thousand people that are going to stand up and give him a well-deserved round of applause. And now it's important for him to just kind of catch his breath, not relax too much, but take a deep breath. Okay, here we are. Got a nothing ball game. We've gotten the first hit. Breaking ball. And that's all you can do. Ground ball that finds the hole.
Batter now is Jay Bruce. That's outside ball 1. It's not often a pitcher gets this deep in a ball game without giving up a hit. It's certainly rare, and more rare each year, it seems.
Special thing when you get this far into a no-hitter.
Two balls and no strikes.
And Ray Searage will watch him very closely now. It's a 0-0 ball game. The hit has been given up. He'll look for any kind of body language that would prompt him to go out and talk to his pitcher. Perhaps something like this. Ball just running off a little bit, had a little run to it, good movement, good action, just missed.
3-0 count to Jay Bruce.
Careful here, he might have a green light.
Pops it back and out of play.
Yeah, with not much happening, and maybe he's on his heels a little bit because the no-hitter's been lost. I wouldn't surprise to see him turn it loose.
Garrett Cole pitched here the other night. His Cardinals had a no-hitter through 5 2/3. His pitch count was pretty elevated. And Clint Hurdle had to think about, boy, I'm going to have to take this guy out at some point. And a line shot off the glove of Walker. And now the Reds with back-to-back hits. And then at first and second with nobody out.
Just off the glove of Neal. Ball hit hard. Just be happy that Billy Hamilton wasn't running right there, because he'd be on third base.
Two on, nobody out for Cincinnati. Christopher Negron at the plate. And he squares around and bunts it down the third base side, foul for strike 1. You know, Steve, the Reds at the All-Star break this year were 51 and 44. They were 7 games over 500. They were a game and a half out of first place. The All-Star game came and went. And since then, they are 14 and 25. And Brian Price's team is 8.5 games out.
And it does not help that his big first baseman was missing time.
Joey Votto done for the season. And a breaking ball taken by Negron for a strike.
That buckles him.
Brandon Phillips missed considerable time this year with a thumb injury. He's recently back from that. There's some more production out of the Reds order during that time since the All-Star break. Here comes the 0-2 delivery. Swinging away, ground ball, diving, stopped by Jay Hay. He's got one. Mike's got it. That's a double play.
He is different. He is different.
Jay Hay all day, all night. Doesn't matter when.
And a nice pick at first base. Now, are they wondering about contact with the foot? Okay, let's see about contact. He got the ball. He's got the base with the hand, so the foot doesn't matter. Yep, he's okay. Now, the guys in the Reds dugout might have been blocked by Jay Hay's body and didn't see the hand come out first. So they're probably having that explained to them, and that'll take care of that. And it's the Volquez and Harrison show tonight.
Well, in a game like this, certainly you can understand why Brian Price wants an explanation on everything.
So that's 3 circles I've got around the number 5 on my scorecard.
Skip Schumacher, the batter, with 2 down, runner at second. Bruce is at second base. Schumacher 0 for 1. He walked in the 5th inning. Flied out to left in the 2nd.
Activity in the Cincinnati bullpen. Although the Pirates haven't scored.
1 ball, 1 strike. And Cozart, the 8-hitter, is on deck, and if the Reds were to load the bases, more than likely Price would pull the trigger on Mike Leake and get a pinch hitter in there. Leake so far has been matching Volquez. The big difference, Volquez 6 full innings of no-hit baseball. But each pitcher has hung a bunch of zeros on the scoreboard. Jay Hay, big reason for Volquez doing it with his defense tonight. His offense hasn't been bad either. He's 2 for 3 with the double.
Well, you know you're going to get that. So
another multi-hit game for Harrison tonight. 2 balls and 1 strike to Schumacher.
43, Anipara.
Two outs, 2 balls, 1 strike. Three and 1. Volquez pitch count getting up there a little bit at 94.
Nothing happening in the Pirate pen yet. If he loses Schumacher, that could change.
Here's the 3-1. He walked it. Second time Schumacher has walked. Now 1st and 2nd, 2 men out. Let's go back to our Root Sports studios right now. Rob King with this game break. Keep an eye on the Cardinals and Cubs at Busch Stadium. Later tonight, Milwaukee takes on San Francisco at AT&T Park. Zach Cozart with 2 men on. Ground ball to third, foul. Strike 1 to Cozart. And Brian Pena, switch hitting catcher / first baseman, is in the on deck circle. Manny Parra continues to loosen up for the Reds.
Over 35,000 people in full support of the Pirates and their starting pitcher. Starting pitcher.
0-1 to Kozar. Now it's 0-2. 230 on the season for the Reds shortstop. Pirates and Reds will play 5 more this season after tonight. 2 more here this weekend. And the Bucks finish the regular season in Cincinnati for the 2nd straight year. Strike 3. Go down to first with 2 outs. And it is stretch time. Middle of the 7th inning. Edinson Volquez has been outstanding, as has Josh Harrison tonight. Pirates looking to get him some runs. Allegheny Health Network Supermo with the video. A day to remember perhaps for Edinson Volquez, and a day to remember coming to Stage AE Outdoors September 4. No score, bottom of the 7th. Neil Walker facing Mike Leake, takes a strike. Terrific ball game tonight from PNC Park. Game 1 of a 3-game Labor Day weekend series. Walker to left field. Schumacher. 1 out. So 1 gone quickly in the Pirates half of the 7th inning. Russell Martin will come up next. Starters comparison, Steve, you're not going to get too much better.
No, they're dealing. In fact, Leake has been extremely efficient. They've both been efficient. They've both been terrific.
Martin lifts this one in the air to left center, and over there to get it is Hamilton. 2 quick outs.
You know, it's one of those games, Tim, where you look at the numbers, you look at what they both are, but it's almost a kind of a game. It sounds funny. You take the numbers away and just watch them because they've been that good. And of course, you want to support their efforts of what they've done in terms of efficiency. Boy, if you want to watch some good pitching, you've been enjoying this one.
These 2 teams go at it again tomorrow afternoon. Join us here for Pirates pregame, 3:30. First pitch a little after 4 o'clock right here on Root Sports. Ike Davis, 0 for 2. Ball 1 to Ike. I wonder if Ike can come up with another big homer.
I was just thinking that. He's done some pretty dramatic things recently.
probably relieved he didn't have to replace the speaker he hit the other day. I don't think that anybody would have minded, considering it was a game winner. Second game in a row, he had a game winner. But he put one out there in the last game here Wednesday afternoon against the Cardinals off of Adam Wainwright.
That wouldn't have been nice, though. Base hit.
Davis has a hit.
Would have been nice, though, if he knocked the speaker down and didn't hurt anybody, and he would pay for it, take it home as a souvenir. Not many players get a chance to do that.
Starling Marte has been helping out too, and kids 14 and younger. Sunday on Kids Day, we'll take home a Marte replica batting practice jersey presented by Eaton Park. Come early for the #1 Concord Family Fun Zone on Federal Street. Stay after. Kids get to run the bases. Presented by Kennywood. For tickets, visit Pirates.com. Kids Day Sunday, 1:35 first pitch. Should be plenty of them here this weekend.
It's been a signature of this ballpark in the last bunch of years to see all the youngsters get hooked on baseball, exposed to baseball. It's been a fun thing to watch. There's a good start right there.
Foul ball.
Those ladies. Yep. Watching their buckles.
0-1 Kelly to Marte. 0-2 to Starling. What have you noticed about Leak tonight? What is he doing well?
Well, first of all, they're staying out of the middle of the strike zone. They're getting guys to go after a lot of pitches early. Leak has been very efficient. He's coming off that 2-hitter that he had against Atlanta Braves that involved 7 innings or close to it. They're making pitches. He wants this up and away. Well, he got it up but not away. They're hitting their spots.
Might have caught part of the strike zone there too. But it's 1-2. Davis, the runner at first base, 2 men out.
And these are both guys that don't blow you away with speed. They're both what, 90, 91, 92 in that range. But they're making those pitches, those 90-mile-an-hour pitches at good times and good spots, and mixing it up with their breaking ball. So they're doing a lot of pitching. You look at the last game, Locke and Wainwright. I mean, they're not flamethrowers. They're both 90, 91, making pitches. Sometimes it's not any more complicated than that. You get on a roll and find out some nights you have a whole sack full of good pitches.
1-2 fouled back. Pirates with activity in the bullpen. Left-hander Tony Watson is up. Watson has pitched a lot over the last couple of games, but a day off yesterday. And Tony would come up and pitch in the 8th.
These are all precious games now. Whatever you've got to do, you can throw the whole kitchen sink to win a baseball game, and then you worry about tomorrow.
Oh, right back to Leak. And we are headed to the 8th inning. Nobody's been able to come around third and score in this ball game. Pirates nothing and the Reds nothing as Marte lines out for the Cincinnati pitcher. Panthers Rewind coming up this Sunday at 6 p.m. The Panthers open their season against the Fighting Blue Hens of Delaware tomorrow. And you can relive all the action right here on Root Sports with Panthers Rewind Sunday at 6 p.m. Football season's here, but baseball season is down the stretch run. Pirates in a pennant race. And a very tight ball game here as Edinson Volquez starts the 8th inning facing a pinch hitter, Chris Heisey, who will bat for Mike Leake.
Who went 7 scoreless, gave up 6 hits, did not walk a batter, and struck out 1. Certainly not throwing a lot of flame, but throwing a lot of outs.
Leake and his catcher Mesoraco going over things a little bit. Leake is out of the ball game. The Reds will now head to the bullpen. Leake 7 strong innings tonight, 6 hits. Jonathan Broxton warming up.
Leake with 1 strikeout. He had 12 in the start way back early in the season in June against the San Francisco Giants. Just 1 tonight. Did a lot of pitching. So has Volquez. This has been a standoff to this point.
No walks tonight for Leake. No runs. He dropped his ERA too from 3.51 down to 3.38. Flare on the right side of the infield. The toss. Volquez, he got there.
How about Ike Davis? Way off first base. A little backhand toss. And they had to be very efficient on that one because of the speed of Heisey. I think Ike did a good job of making the judgment there, because if he goes to first base, I don't know if Neal can get to that ball and make a play. What a feed to his pitcher.
Like he was running the option.
Yeah, exactly. Edison, a little bit of a late start. That's what created the contact after the play.
Volquez getting just a second. Fielding Culbreth coming out to find out when he's ready to pitch again, as Russell Martin gave him a little extra time to stop the huffing and puffing.
Yeah, the adrenaline will get you over there, and then you realize, boy, you know, it's the 8th inning. Let me catch my breath a little bit.
1 out for Volquez, and now back to the top of the Cincinnati order, Billy Hamilton. He walked, stole second, went to third on a throwing error by Russell Martin, and was stranded there in the 6th. That's the closest either team has come to scoring a run.
And here we are. This might be the matchup of the night as the game has played out right now, to keep him off first base.
And the 1-0. 1 ball, 1 strike to Hamilton. Pirates began the night 4 games back in the Central Division standings, trailing Milwaukee. Milwaukee plays later on the West Coast against San Francisco. And even with the day off, sometimes it can change by half a game here and there, but no change in the standings from Wednesday afternoon till tonight. Pirates have taken 2 of 3 from Milwaukee in Milwaukee, 2 of 3 from St. Louis here. Hoping to continue a good run. Guys getting it done. Ike Davis, a couple of big swings. Neil Walker. And there's a base hit for Hamilton. And with 1 out, the Red Speedster is aboard. His first hit.
Yeah, don't expect him to stay there. I mean, if we went before, now it's the 8th inning. Chances are even higher. Now Russell wants to go out and talk to him. The subject could be of 2 things. It could be relax, make sure you concentrate on Todd Frazier and don't give too much attention. I mean, don't give all your attention to Billy Hamilton and forget about your batter. That could be a subject.
Well, this is game one of this three-game set. 37,209, the 16th sellout of the season. Pirates going over the 2 million mark in attendance tonight. Yep, he counts two.
And the other subject that I was referring to is you've got to help it. You've got to give me a chance to throw him out. So that's the line that Volquez is walking. Yep, don't forget about Frazier. Think too much about Hamilton at the expense of what you're going to try to do to the batter, but please give me a chance to throw him out. So that is the fine line.
Hamilton still creeping on first. The pitch inside for a ball. And the word on Hamilton too is he's become a better base stealer, meaning he doesn't just go out there like he could in the minor leagues. He just run on the first pitch. Started to get thrown out a little bit more at the major league level, so he's picking his spots a little bit differently now. Two and 0.
See, this is the danger. Now, I have no idea whether that might have anything to do with paying too much attention, overly concerned about the guy at first at the expense of his delivery to home plate. You never know that unless you're out there throwing the ball. But he is behind 2-0. And the plot thickens.
Throw to first. And stepping back is Hamilton.
And Hamilton's learning more about National League pitchers. And he's practicing more at the major league level. Stealing bases is a tough thing to practice. You can't do it during batting practice because there's no live major league pitching.
There goes Hamilton. Swing and a miss, throw down, and Hamilton is safe. Second stolen base of the game, his 53rd of the year.
And the only thing Jim Reynolds, second base umpire, was waiting for is to make sure that the ball, he didn't overslide the base and the ball would get him. So that's a lot of steps for that kind of speed. Throw is good. Didn't overslide. Safe.
D. Gordon still in front of him with 58.
Well, Russell Martin out again, making sure of signs, and don't forget him just because he stole second. You don't want him at third base with one out.
Well, Russ put the sign down now for Edinson. Runner at second base, one out. 2-ball, 1-strike pitch coming to Frazier.
Frazier, a little kind of a semi-wave at that pitch, maybe to hopefully try to distract Russell. Russell made a good throw, just too much speed. Little wave swing he did.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Saw that flinch. Maybe saw it, maybe he did the flinch by the base runner Hamilton to try to get a flinch out of Volquez also. Just at the last second, he acted like he was going to break quickly to third base while Volquez was turning back toward home plate.
111 pitch. I love this about Clint Hurdle. Respecting this effort by Volquez and leaving him in there as long as he possibly can. Now, he may have to make a move after the next pitch. I don't know. But so far, he is showing a lot of respect for his pitcher.
2-2 to Frazier. Hamilton diving back. Nobody there to receive a throw. On Hopper to Jordy Mercer. Looks Hamilton back. 2 gone for the Reds in the 8th.
That worked out very nicely.
Just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller time later in tonight's game. Brought to you by Miller Lite. Good product placement.
Yeah.
Now here is Brandon Phillips, 0 for 3 tonight. Runner in scoring position, 2 men out. Top of the 8th in a scoreless game. Pirates with 6 hits, the Reds with 3.
Those weren't professional actors. Those are real customers.
Real customers, yes. And the pitch to Phillips from Volquez. Ball 1.
This will be Volquez's last inning. Should he get this last out, he's scheduled to bat second in the 8th. He just love to have him get one more out to just really tie a red ribbon around this performance. Not that it'll be any less respected if Clint has to make a move, but I think he's got to get Phillips out.
Jared Hughes has joined Tony Watson in the pen, and Phillips is hit by the pitch, or did it hit the bat? Well, he's been given first base. And this will be a replay to see. Both phones working now. And Jeff Bannister, the bench coach, telling Clint Hurdle he might need to go out for a conversation, or is he going out to get Volquez?
If they don't bring Phillips back, I would guess that, well, Clint's waiting now. Let's not speculate.
They're going to try to take a look at this, and we'll see if they're going to challenge or not.
I don't if we don't challenge it, I would guess there'd be a pitching change.
Will it hit the knob of the bat, or does it hit Phillips?
They want to look at it.
Pirates are going to challenge this. And just to clarify, you challenging whether or not he was hit. You can't challenge it whether it was a foul ball, because that's what it would be if the call is overturned. And the Pirates favor, but the Bucks are going to challenge this one in the 8th inning. Phillips down there at first base. And we'll see if it erases the base runner or not. And another situation here, you're late in the ball game. You've thrown as many pitches as you've thrown in the season in 114 with Volquez. How do you stay loose right here? Or are you?
I don't think it's a big issue. I mean, you've thrown a lot. I think if we don't win this, I think he's out of the ball game anyway. No, Phillips is acting right now. Just in case anybody's looking like we are, he's trying to sell this thing. Well, maybe he did. Well, that's a tough one for me to see.
Is it clear and convincing to the folks in New York? That's going to be the main thing. I mean, first look, if you ask me, does this hit the knob of the bat? I'd say yeah, but again, I'm not the one making the call.
He's got his hand below his gloves right down there too.
And just the audio of it too. It sounded like it hit wood and not bone. But also to clarify, at the replay operations center, audio is not part of the equation. They do not listen to the audio of things. They just watch the video.
Edenson's just going to play a little catch.
So here's the call coming. And they're going to give him first base. Pirates are going to lose the challenge. And Edinson Volquez's night is done.
And you're going to hear some booing initially, but then you'll hear some cheering for Mr. Volquez. A lot of cheering.
Waiting to hear if that call stood or if it was confirmed. Edinson Volquez, what a night. No hit the Reds through 6. And he leaves with 2 outs in the 8th. Tony Watson coming on to replace Edinson Volquez when we come back to PNC Park. of them were no-hit innings. And Steve, he had some help from his defense as well as the strikeout going.
Yep. Great play by Jay Hay. Check swing that wasn't a wild swing. And another chase. And then a fine play by his first baseman to give him a backhand feed. And Edinson Volquez, a well-deserved, tremendous round of applause. He really did a lot of pitching tonight. We're still scoreless.
114 pitches, a season high. It ties the 114 pitches he threw in a complete game July 10th at St. Louis.
Did not give up his first hits until the 7th inning.
Well, Tony Watson now trying to get Devin Mesoraco out. 2 out and 2 on. The 2 base runners are Hamilton at second base and Phillips at first. Those are still the responsibility of Volquez.
Yeah, Tony Watson, and he is certainly getting a lot of respect from his manager, who says he feels good about Tony Watson getting anybody out. Right hand, left hand, switch hitter, or where they stand on home plate.
1 ball, 1 strike to Mesoraco. He was hit by a pitch in the 2nd inning. Got it right in the chest. And he broke up the no-hitter in the 7th inning. With a base hit just past a diving Jordy Mercer. 1-1. Takes a strike on the corner.
And out in front is Tony. You've got incredible speed at second base. Here's the 2nd strike, just off the inside corner, but close enough to get an occasional call. Anything through the infield is going to score a run. So if you see a ground ball and you see a Pirate diving for it to keep it from getting into the outfield, you might save a run. You might save the ball game.
1-2, loop to the left center field. Hamilton's going to score easily, and the Reds are on the board. Marte bobbles it. Phillips around third. He's going to go to the plate. Jay Hay's throw is there to get him.
Great save by Harrison and Russell Martin, but they have scored.
Pirates need to get some runs now, as for the first time they trail. Game's only run. Starling Marte charged with an error on the hit by Mesoraco here that looped into left center field. Allegheny Health Network Super Mo slowing it down for us.
Hamilton's going to score. That's automatic.
But Phillips, he was just itching to score as well.
That was stopped.
Ball got away from Mercer, but there's Jay Hay to save the day.
So Pirates kicked it around in left center field, and also kicked it around at the shortstop position. But a great recovery by Harrison and a great tag by Russell Martin prevents it from being 2-0.
Jonathan Broxton takes over now for Mike Leake. Broxton pitching in the bottom of the 8th, facing Mercer. Pirates have gotten to Broxton a few times in the past. It's turned out to be a pretty good matchup for the Pirates.
Former Dodger closer.
See if the Buccos can get to him here, get that run back. Mercer fouls it off. Andrew Lambeau in the on-deck circle, just called up from AAA Indianapolis today. And if you didn't see the roster move, it was Lambeau called up. Garrett Cole optioned to Rookie League Bristol. And before you say, what do you mean? Bristol's season finishes tonight. So basically as a paper move, their season ends, and Garrett will be reinstated Monday when the rosters expand. Mercer to right field. And Bruce makes the catch. Cole will also pitch Monday against the Cardinals. So 1 out for the Pirates in the bottom of the 8th. Off the bat from the MLB Fan Cave takes the love of the game to the next level. Going behind the scenes with the biggest stars in baseball and pop culture. Tuesday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern on MTV2. Lambeau hitting the pitcher's spot 9th. Now things that are automatic, almost automatic. Pitching coach will come out and visit about a pinch hitter. Pico going back to the dugout. Jonathan Broxton to face Andrew Lambeau. Lambeau hit .328 with Indianapolis. 11 home runs, 42 runs batted in. Pitch outside for a ball. Lambeau's first major league activity this season. Made his big league debut last year against the Cardinals. And he rips one down to first base. That's off the glove of Frazier. And the Pirates have a tying run on in the 8th. Action.
Short hop, not handled. Pirates have their base runner.
Now this has been scored a base hit for Lambeau. He'll take it.
Properly. Yep. Just ate him up.
Josh Harrison, 2 for 3. Jay flied out very deep to center field on the warning track in the 3rd inning. He singled in the 1st, doubled in the 6th, and was stranded at 3rd. 1 out, 1 on for the Pirates in the 8th inning.
Yeah, Negron at third base, even with a base just in case, he might try to put the ball down.
Pitch to Jay. He swings and drives it to right field, down the line and deep. Bruce on the run. He won't get it. It's off the wall and gets away from him. Lambeau coming around 3rd. Lambeau to the plate. He scores. Jay into 3rd safely with a triple.
Of course. Of course.
Ball game tied at 1 on Josh Harrison's 3rd hit. What do you say, Jay? What a night.
Harrison for president. That sign was correct. carry to the opposite field, and a great bounce off the American League scoreboard. There's the bounce. Now the race is on. Lambeau's going to recognize at some point it's not going to be caught. Yeah, he makes that good commitment. No problem for him. With that big bounce, gives Josh Harrison an extra 90 feet, and the Pittsburgh Pirates have a chance to steal this baseball game.
Triple number 7. Single, double, triple tonight for Harrison. Infield is in for Cincinnati. Harrison, the go-ahead run at third. And Jose Tabata, who had a base hit in the 6th, is 1 for 3. Broxton ready to go. His pitch. Strike 1 to Tabata. That's the reaction from Harrison. He loves it. Presented earlier today with the Heart and Hustle Award, and shows a ton of it. Oh, 1 to Jose. Base hit! Yes! Pirates lead it 2-1. Jose Tabata, one RBI single, getting Harrison home.
Boy, this is what you want to show your fans. This is exactly the kind of ball game. It's not over yet. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves. But boy, are they loving this. Yep, routine ground ball, but sometimes they find a hole. Playing up close. And that's what allows these kind of base hits.
Jose Millet. Now it's McCutcheon. Still 1 out. And Andrew hits one up in the air to right center field. Actually shallow right. Jay Bruce will get underneath it. And there are 2 gone. 1 for 4 for McCutcheon. McCutcheon a little upset that he popped it up again.
And now you wonder if the Reds are going to watch Tabata closely. I mean, there's really not much to lose. Take a shot at a stolen base and maybe getting yourself another cheap run. Or another run that's cheap. The first one was not.
Tony Watson now becomes the pitcher of record for the Pirates. To the good. Jonathan Broxton the other way. As Walker takes the ball.
And how about Tony? He could go to what, 10-1?
He'd be, yeah, 10. He'd be right behind Volquez in terms of wins. If the Pirates can finish this one off.
Stay tuned, Elroy Face. Tony might be coming after you.
Mark Melanson loosening up.
Just a modest lead for Tabata.
One ball, 1 strike to Walker. Walker 0 for 3. Neal hit into a double play in the 4th inning. Fly to left last time up in the 7th. One and 1 to Walker. And Neal floats one right at Phillips. And that'll do it for the Pirates' 8th. 2 runs on 3 hits, a triple by Jay Hay, and the Bucks have the lead.
the authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Here's a look at our AT&T fan photos for you tonight. Keep the submissions coming. Hashtag Bucks fan photo. Rays Town Lake. Tim Rosner showing his Pirates pride. And how about this little guy coming to the Pirates game tonight? He had hoisted the colors on his way in.
How good is that?
Thanks for those photos. Well, a 2-1 ball game now, top of the 9th inning. Mark Melanson has come on. Jonathan Broxton gave up 2 runs on 3 hits. Josh Harrison, an RBI triple after Lambeau had singled with 1 out. And here is Melanson looking for save number 25. Jose Tabata with a big hit as the infield was drawn in, and he hit it through the hole on the left side to score Harrison for the go-ahead run.
So many people still here. So many people still here.
Defensively, Neil Walker out into right field, and outfield shifted over around to the right for Jay Bruce. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, we mentioned, Steve, that we thought it might be a better matchup with Broxton out there for the Pirates. You go back to the beginning of last season, some interesting numbers with the Pirates against Jonathan Broxton. Here's the 1-1 pitch and a foul ball. In 8 1/3 innings pitched against the Pirates, Broxton has given up 9 runs and has an ERA of 9.72.
Yeah. Right, that's one side of the coin. The other side of the coin, if you look at his numbers so far for the Reds this year, an ERA of $1.50. I mean, all his numbers are very good, so they've been liking his work. But you're right, there is a history.
1 ball, 2 strike pitch from Melanson to Bruce. In the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Jay Bruce. Certainly Brian Price very concerned. A terrific pitching matchup between Mike Leake and Edinson Volquez tonight. And the bullpen guys are going to get a decision. Not the starters. 2-2 pitch. Now it's full at 3-2. Christopher Negron on deck, third baseman. Brent Hurdle watching his closer work now in the 9th inning.
Got to be careful. This guy has enormous power.
Payoff pitch. Foul off. Mark trying to use his good aim. In fact, he used it yesterday at the Pirates Charities Sporting Clays Invitational at Seven Springs. He had the best score of any Pirates player, actually by a long way. Had 104 out of 100. Had a couple of bonus plays. Mark is a very good shot. Did very well yesterday. 3-2 pitch. And foul off. Brandon Phillips, look of concern. Billy Hamilton, he did what he could do tonight for the Reds. Melanson's payoff again to Jay Bruce. Struck him out.
What a job. This is work. Jay Bruce gave him all he could handle until the end, and then Mark made his pitch. No. let's not lose track of that play that Harrison made to Russell Martin to keep it a 1-0 ball game, in addition to everything else.
Christopher Negron, he takes a strike. Oh for 3 for Negron tonight. Jay Bruce down on strikes, 1 out, top of the 9th inning. 2-1 Pirates. Melanson's pitch. Right to Jay, 1 out. 1 out away from wrapping it up. Josh Harrison has played himself a baseball game tonight. Right at him.
Center stage.
Everybody's up. Batter will be Skip Schumacher. 0 for 1. He's walked twice. Strike 1. Mark Melanson trying to make Tony Watson the winner for the 10th time. The last time a Pirate reliever had as many wins, you have to go back to 1988. Jeff Robinson had 11 in the season. Schumacher bouncing ball to Mercer. Throw to first. He got him! The Pirates complete their 35th come from behind win. Get their 70th win of the season. They go to 70-64 and cut the lead in the division for the time being to 3.5 games.
You have just watched a classic baseball game. This was pure baseball. Classic baseball game.
Josh Harrison, single, double, triple, RBI, run scored, and he's on the ballot. Jose Tabata with a game-winning RBI, scoring Harrison with the infield drawn in. So the Pirates get a 2-1 win here. Let's send you downstairs where Rob King is standing by.
Thanks very much, Tim and Steve. And it has been classic games all week. The 3 games against the St. Louis Cardinals. Tonight's game following suit. Terrific starting pitching. Great ball games, and we're looking for more over the course of the weekend. It's our Nissan road ahead. The pitching matchups, Alfredo Simon and Vance Worley going tomorrow. Then on Sunday, again, that's a 3:30 coverage start tomorrow. Then on Sunday, it's Johnny Cueto going against Francisco Liriano, who was terrific back on Monday. Really starting off this great stretch of terrific starting pitching for the Buccos. Let's go downstairs now and join Robbie Inzbikowski with who else? Josh Harrison. Robbie.
So here's how Josh Harrison's day start. Heart and Hustle Award, 2 great defensive plays, a single, double, triple, and a Pirates win in front of a full house. Josh, how do you put all this into words?
Words can't describe, man. You know, it's a good game, and we just want to come out, you know, take the first game of the series and set us up for a series win.
Josh, look around for a second. They're alternating chants, J-Hay and MVP. What does that mean to you?
Oh, man, it's a great feeling. You know, very humbled by it. And, you know, I appreciate all the support and, you know, just having fun out there.
Before the game, when we discussed you getting the Pirates nomination for the Heart and Hustle Award, you said things happen and things go your way when you get opportunity. How are you able to seize this opportunity this season and do stuff like this?
God is good. You know, my faith just kept me restored. And, you know, I knew waiting on that opportunity that, you know, I was going to get one and I was going to give it everything I got.
All right, Leak and Volquez in a pitcher's duel tonight. They get one to end the 8th inning. You come in the bottom of the 8th against Broxton, a flamethrower. What's your approach in that at bat, and how do you get the triple?
I'm ready to hit, and he left one over the plate, and I knew if I got a good swing on it, I had a chance of doing something special.
What kind of fun is this in the clubhouse and on the field and here at PNC Park, this latest run you're on?
Oh, man, it's a blast. You look forward to coming to the field every day, and, you know, it's always fun when you get a win.
How do you view these 3 series? Brewers, Cardinals, Reds, teams you're battling?
They're division, and you want to take care of division, and at the end of the day, we know if we take care of ourselves, we'll be in a good spot.
All right, Josh, I get the feeling your interviews aren't done for the night. I think you got to go see Jim Trdenich right now. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How about it? Josh Harrison, he's a popular guy, not just here on the North Shore, Rob King. He's popular all over Major League Baseball.
And with good reason. Makes the all-star team out of nowhere. Josh Harrison battling perhaps for a batting crown, helping the Pirates battle for a postseason berth. Jay Hay for president. Sounds pretty good to a lot of Pirates fans right about now. Just as we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, presented by Miller Lite. Who else? Josh Harrison, not only offensively, but defensively as well. Early on, he robs Frazier in the top of the fourth. Terrific play there. Later in the sixth, Phillips with a liner and a runner on third. Harrison ends the inning there. Another threat comes in the seventh. Josh Harrison alertly tagging third. Guns over to first to get the double play on Christopher Negron. Let's not forget the 3 hits, including that triple off the right center field wall that scores Andrew Lambeau, puts him in position to score the go-ahead run. And the Pirates go on and win by the final score of 2-1. So what does this mean in the standings for the Pirates right now? Well, keep in mind the Brewers will be taking on the San Francisco Giants. That's a game that's going to be starting a little bit later on. Cardinals and Cubs going at it right now as well. We will update that game for you when we come around with Pirates postgame. And that, in fact, is up next, following another night with Josh Harrison's fingerprints all over a Bucco victory. They win by the final score of 2-1. Jose Tabata providing some of the heroics as well. Coming up, Steve Blatz will join us. Highlights, post-game reaction, and much more, all coming up next on Pirates Postgame.